Donna from Unique Vibrations. And wow, Krishna, you were very prompt. Welcome, my dear. We're at Unique Vibrations Midday Show, and today we've got a very great topic that I'm very passionate about, and it's all about your sense of thought. Today, though, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I'd love you to send me some love, hearts, thumbs up, whatever. Let me know where you're tuning in from. As I said, it's absolutely wonderful. Krishna, thank you. You're just so, I'm so grateful you're here every week. Thank you. And, just anybody else who comes on, let me know where you are. I'd love to know your comments as we're going through this one today. And, really I'm asking about what your sense of thought is. Did you know that even when you speak silently, that somebody is always listening? And, this affects how you move through your next couple of action steps. So, who would have believed that every thought that you have impacts everything that you do? It's your next action, it's your next thought after that that's affected by the thought that you're thinking. And, it's really everything that you do, and it's being able to control that thought process, understanding where that thought comes from, understanding how and when it will be sabotaging your next actions, and also about how you can move forward efficiently and effectively by knowing all those tips and tricks on how to take control of that back. And, when you look back over your life, you look at everybody that had any sort of influence over you. So your parents, your teachers, anybody who was in an authoritative position when you were growing up that took some kind of influence over your conditioning. And then if you compared that to who you're hanging around with these days, you might just see a connection. And a lot of people don't believe they can actually change that. Well, I'm very passionate about every thought process, every belief system that you have can actually be changed. And it's not hard to do, but it does take discipline. So, when you think about your action steps and what your next action steps are, you are really going to have a consequence from that. So whether it's a good action or a bad action, there's going to be consequences. Now, the good action that brings up great consequences really starts to put you forward in your success, and it gives you an understanding of what can happen when you're actually thinking clearly, with clarity, you're focused, you're motivated, you're inspired, you're fired, in your soul's reignited with, where you want to go and what you're doing in your life. And the bad consequences, obviously, can come to sabotage, procrastination, perhaps a failure or making a mistake. I don't like to call them failures. It's all about making mistakes and learning from those and moving forward the next time. So, we all know that between the ages of 0 to 7, there was some really major conditioning going on in your life. And that really had a lot to do with your thought processes growing up from that age forward. And that then becomes your belief system. So it's really important to know who those influences were when you were growing up, and how you can really understand how to break through those beliefs, and often limiting beliefs. So, that's really important as well. So thanks, Krishna. I'm glad you're enjoying the topic. It's, all the topics that I speak about, I really am very passionate about, because I've learned so much by understanding them, I suppose. And, I just love to share that with everybody. People say that there's no way that they can actually change that conditioning, that DNA belief system. But like I said, it just takes discipline. It takes discipline. It takes a little bit of action, and a little bit of understanding. When you know that, you know, there is so much more that you can do. You know, I want to share that with you, and I do that with my coaching programs. We decode your DNA blocks, and we, you know, move you forward to raise your vibration so you're actually living to the potential that you should be living at, that you're inspired to do more with your life. And if you think about how your opinions changed over the years, then you can understand that that's a part of the process to changing your belief system. When you understand a subject or a topic, like topics that I don't normally talk about, politics, you know, it's such a irrational discussion, I suppose. Everybody is very passionate about the views that they have. But, you know, when you're growing up, if your parents were either Liberal or Labor, and I didn't put one before the other because that's a clue to who I go with, that has nothing to do with it. But whoever they voted for, they are going to implode that information into your conditioning, and often you'll follow them until you learn to understand the topics, what politics is offering, and what your impressions and what your values and morals are about, and so you vote for who you want to. So that belief system, that's just an example. That belief system can change. So because you understand as you get older, so your opinions change. Now that is very much about how your conditioning and your belief system works. So bear that in mind. I'm not saying that this is necessarily gospel, that this is what you must believe, this is what you must understand, you know, that, but I guarantee 99% of the time, if you use my techniques, tools and techniques and strategies, you will actually blow those limiting beliefs right out of your system and move into some really valuable self-worth, value. Your core values will change, your morals will change, and you'll be really inspired to go out there and do what you're passionate about. So, you know, everything that I go through, like this is 35 years of my learnings and teachings, my mistakes. So I'm just trying to gift to you the information that you can take away from this and have an understanding of how you can improve your life to your better self and not be slowed down by making errors and mistakes. So this is why I do what I do. But I also think that people want to overcomplicate things too much, and your thought process with complication becomes erratic. It really does get confused. If you're keeping it simple, you can break down steps, keeping them very simple. You can write down the steps that you need to take, and you can expand on those without being complicated. So again, it's keeping your thought processes simple. What do you need to do to get from A to B, and work out the steps that you need to take. Don't make it complicated, because those steps, the more complicated they become, the more you look at it and it's huge. And how do you take a bite out of that? You know, it's like eating an elephant one bite at a time, but you still want to keep it simple, because all you have to do is chew, if that makes sense. So that was, yeah. And it really does, Kucha, you brought up earlier by grandparents and found older view. Yes. Would you agree with that conditioning, growing up with an older generation as mentors? Again, it depends, because it depends on who they were, what their values were. And if you still go with those values, if that's still what you believe to be, you know, your values. I know some of those may have changed as you've gotten older and you're doing what you're doing and you're tuning into the more spiritual side. But look, definitely, I think with younger parents as well, you can have really good values and morals. It depends on the person. So again, you know, we grow, we learn things. We don't always agree with everything that they do for the whole of our lives. And you might see that those things are happening, but that's all fine. Like it's truly not, not a yay or nay answer, if that makes sense. So, you know, often you do find that they're a little bit more understanding, and so their values and discipline might be a little bit different. And, you know, that's amazing. So language, though, is so important, and the language comes from your thoughts. Every single day, what you say, especially when you meet somebody for the first time, is your first impression. What are people going to think of that? What are people going to think of what you've said, how you've spoken, and is it in line with their core values, and is it in line with the people that they're trying to attract into their life? So, you know, that is a really big one as well. Once you understand your thought process, you understand more how to approach people, what to say, how to say it, and, you know, how to present yourself. And, you know, it's not hard work when it's who you truly are. When you really tap into your true core and understand who you are, then all of that just falls into place. And again, it's all, you know, I do this in my coaching programs. It's so easy when you have those techniques. Forgiveness of others. This is a massive one for me. It's your forgiveness for others is really about you. It's nothing to do with the other person. If you can't forgive somebody, then you find it really hard to let go of the pain and the hurt and the emotional attachments that you feel when you think about that experience. Forgiving them allows you to release and step forward and be able to then, if you, for example, are going to be a public speaker, it allows you to let go of the raw hurt and pain and step up to actually step out of the story to a certain extent to be able to tell it and still have emotion and still have rawness, but not standing in it so you're reliving it day in and day out, because that can very much become a victim mentality unless you know how to step out of that a little bit and work through that story without being right in it. But people still want the emotion, they still want the rawness. So don't get me wrong, there are techniques that you can learn to do so that you actually absolutely 100% stand outside that story while being within the rawness and the emotion of it. Oh, it is. That's a great nugget, that one. When I first found out about those techniques and those ways to do it, I just was like, oh my God, that is so true. Because I was always so emotional whenever I'd stand up and do public speaking, and it was because I was so damn nervous, I think, more than anything. And, you know, when you learn not to stand right in that story, regardless of what it is, and I never told my story at that time. So when you learn that technique, it's amazing because you can literally do anything you want. And, you know, even when you're sharing parts of your story for the first time, you can do things and stand there and talk about things without really being like a real, you know, affected emotionally by that, so you can't actually get your message across. But I love that, you know, when you do start practicing the forgiveness and the gratitude, you can really then let go of that and let go of the feelings. And I've got a thing here that I always use at some point, and it's something that Oprah Winfrey said. Now, what she says is you have to take responsibility for your life and not just sit around and wait for it to happen, because only you and you only have the power to take responsibility for your life to move forward. She also says, in this moment, your willingness to see this moment for what it is, accept it, and forgive the past and move forward. Now, that is so true. She has a huge story. If she was to let those limiting beliefs block her, we wouldn't have an Oprah Winfrey show. We wouldn't have, you know, all the help and success that she creates in helping young girls move forward after sexual and family abuse. You know, her story is huge. She could have sat there and been a victim, but oh my God, she's actually forgiven and let it go and move forward to do something positive with that. And that's what we all want to do. You know, and you really can start to move forward into the success roles of your life and, you know, start with more positive thinking processes. So, you know, that's super important. And not allowing your limiting beliefs to block your achievements and your potential of by being negative. And, you know, again, are the people around you negative or are they positive? Are they going to hold you back or are they going to support you and hold you up? So, you know, raise you up and support you to move forward. It's massive. So, you know, you really want to identify those thought processes. Now, I did speak about this in one of my previous shows where you have it's like a 3 to 5 second window when a thought pops into your head, and you can either adjust that thought or you can naturally just let it work through. And, you know, if it's not a great thought, then that thought is going to be overtaken by your subconscious mind and your conditioning that you're already used to, and probably sabotage whatever your next steps are. So in that 3 to 5 second window that you have when it first pops into your head, you can go, hang on a minute, where did that come from? Is that a thought that I want to project forward, or do I want to alter that with my new habits, my new thought processes, and move forward? And again, those techniques are really, really easy when you know how. And, you know, I have had so much success with my coaching through decoding these whole life's journey that, you know, I love doing that, because you really do see transformations of women within, you know, 2-3 hours of starting the program. And, you know, as I said, it's really easy to do. You can implement them straight away. And I just love being able to help women do that. That way you can start being in control of your thoughts and believe that it's possible to do absolutely anything that you want to. And, you know, your subconscious mind can be where it needs to be and only act in when it needs to. So you can retrain the way that those subconscious thoughts come in and how you can move forward with anything that you want to do. You know, what are you passionate about in life? You know, is it a hobby or is it a monetary value? Don't let it stop you because it's a hobby. You can actually turn that into something that will create financial sustainability for yourself. So, you know, that's massive. And, you know, as you move forward and do this and adopt new beliefs in your in the process of doing all of this work, then your success, your self-respect, your confidence, you know, you'll start to have more self-love. And I guarantee that the relationships that you have, your past, whoever they are, they will improve, because the more you love yourself, the more you're open to receiving more love. And, you know, when we're mothers, we're busy with children, and, you know, all of these things interfere with our one relationship that we started with. And it's that really ignited, and you can do that when you really start to love yourself more. And, you know, I have an offer on one of my master classes which can actually help you to really realign all of those things. You know, it's a free masterclass to my live TV people. And, you know, I really do like to give that as a insight on how they can actually do better in life and better in business. So you become more, you know, as you become more aware of your thoughts as well, you know, the people that start coming into your circles will create, you know, will be the people that you want in your circles. All because you think better, your whole life changes. Like, your thought process really does affect your whole life. It's everything that you do. absolutely everything that you do. So it's important to know that whatever you do in life all starts with your thought. Your thought becomes an action. Your action becomes your destiny. Your destiny becomes who you are and what you put across. So it's all connected to the whole of your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And to align all of that is a massive step and a massive journey. So remember to think about those thoughts as they come in. And, you know, one last thing I suppose I wanted to mention was, it's really funny because when you stand wholeheartedly in your truth, you actually do find that what you say is what you mean. And once you've said it, you don't have to say anything. There's so many people that you can talk to on a daily basis that feel they have to justify what they say. If you've got to justify what you say, if you have to give a reason why you think, or for, you know, whatever purpose, then are you standing in your truth? That's a question I'd be asking myself. There is no reason to justify what you do when you are whole, when you are aligned, wholly aligned, when you stand in your truth and you know that your purpose, you know, is on point and that you're passionate about what you do. So don't try and justify what you do or what you say because you're talking to somebody who is of a lesser mindset. I don't mean that in a derogative way by any means. Some people just don't understand. And to have to justify the way that they move through life is something that they have done all their life and probably will have for the best part of their life unless they come in and learn these techniques. So a massive, massive journey. You know, my business, Unique Vibrations, is all about creating extraordinary, to raise their vibration and actually allow them to be the best version of themselves every single day. And I'm just going to pull up here. I've got, so I'm going to put this across. Whoops. What's up there? No, it didn't work. Why didn't that work? Show, is that? No, that's not showing. Sometimes this is so confusing. So I'm not sure why it's not showing. I will pop the link in. Next week, I am holding a proven stress business and income with less stress, and that's a free masterclass. So there you go, it's come up. It's just a little bit delayed, I think. And then this so that's up there. Now I also have a contact. If you want to contact me, I have got the details on my Facebook page, but I'm not sure why it didn't come up. But I will pop that in the comments so you can contact me. And remember, every single day, you don't have to settle for being an ordinary person. You can be extraordinary and live an extraordinary life every single day. So bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. I think I quickly saw Karen on here as well. Karen, thank you for tuning in. And I really do look forward to seeing you all tune in next week. So, Krishna, thank you, my love. Thank you so much. You're just amazing for being here and supporting me every week. I'm sorry I just missed yours this morning. I was on a call and I just couldn't pop over, but I will go and look at that. So, well done. Thank you. God bless everybody. Be extraordinary. Don't be ordinary. Thank you. Bye.